Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ready Steady Play. I'm here today with Ollie.
Hiya.
You might remember him from Tricerion.
Winner!
And also, basically, I think you're in the second group to the second series ever.
Really?
Yeah, wasn't the second series ever like Kittens in a Blender or Apothecary or something?
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
I think. It might have been, I might be misremembering the order. Anyway,
Yeah.
long time ago now, it feels like. We're back with something much more complex than Kittens in a Blender. We've got Spirit Island.
Yes, that is really cool.
It's a cooperative game, much in the vein of sort of like Pandemic and that kind of thing, where essentially we're teaming up to compete against a system. In this case, the system is invaders invading an island, and we are supernatural spirits protecting the indigenous peoples and helping them to fight off the invaders.
Yep. In this case, the invaders, of course, being the English.
The Kingdom of England.
Yeah, we were known for going around
and invading.
Yeah.
And
There's no nice way of saying that, is there?
Well, you're the history expert, so you know better than me. But
yeah, there's a reason the British Museum has so many things from around the world. It's because we were really good at nicking them.
Really good at nicking them. That's true, yeah.
But this game's going to be kind of fun because in most co-op games, there's always some kind of betrayer, which is usually Mike, even when it's not. But in this one, there's no betrayer. So
yeah, we're actually going to have to put aside our
ancient
rival, our deep-seated enmity, and collaborate. Team up against the Kingdom of England.
Yes.
Look, the story thus far. Do you want to know about the story thus far?
Yes.
Cool. The world of Spirit Island is roughly similar to our own world's past. Details differ, but the overall trends of society and technology across the globe are broadly the same. Europe is no exception. Its politics have taken a different turn, but the customs and attitudes of its people are similar to our own history. There is some belief in the supernatural. Religion speaks of good and evil powers. There are folk customs and superstitions. But nowhere in Europe, or other large empires of humanity, is there a place where the stones will speak to you, or trees draw up their roots and rove across the land. It is no wonder the invaders fail to understand Spirit Island when they arrive. The island has existed far longer than humans have lived there, but despite the continued existence of first-hand witnesses, assembling a coherent history is virtually impossible. Even among the most trustworthy spirits, tales of the past are rife with contradictions, all maintained to be true. Did Voice of the Deepest Gorge sacrifice itself, or descend to some greater destiny, or remain unchanged as an oracle of sorts? All three, apparently. Estimations of time and order are similarly hazy. The spirits of the island are many and diverse, thronging whispers of breeze, strange half-seen shadows across still water, the sunbeam which forms perfect patterns even through tangled deadwood. Most do not fight the invaders. The smaller spirits are too weak, the greatest ones too slow, or so strong they destroy the island. Some, like Watcher Acts Not, are restrained by their own nature, and others can't be bothered.
It actually says can't be bothered. It actually says can't be bothered.
Not every grove or gully has a spirit, but there are certainly more spirits than Dahan. The Dahan were the first humans on Spirit Island. They immigrated centuries ago in a time when ocean's hungry grasp prowled nearby waters less frequently. Their law spoke of spirits, and they expected their new home to have some, but were greatly surprised by the spirits' numbers, vitality, and intensity of manifestation. Some mistook the greater spirits for gods. The Dahan's agriculture and animals brought blight to the land and conflict with the spirits, triggering the First Reckoning. The Dahan capitulated quickly, and an accord was reached. The spirits would transform crops and animals to be more compatible with the ecosystem. The Dahan would change their methods of farming and seek counsel from the friendlier spirits. The two became neighbors. Though unequal, the Dahan were reliant on and obligated to the spirits. The Second Reckoning.
Oh dear.
Many centuries later came the Second Reckoning, when the Dahan discovered their advisors and protectors had not been entirely candid with them, and the power balance between the Dahan and spirits evened out. But that is another story. Suffice it to say that the Dahan no longer view the spirits as gods. The Invaders. The Invaders found Spirit Island a decade ago. Early coastal contact with the Dahan was fairly peaceful. The Dahan saw these new seafarers as analogues of those who travel, and offered them appropriate hospitality. The Invaders saw a fertile, sparsely populated island and brought word home for a land ripe for the taking.
That's about right.
We found it, guys. Stuff. Our stuff now.
guys, this island is fantastic and the natives are stupid and welcoming. Let's go!
Don't have guns.
Yeah.
We're good. The first colony ships arrived 5 years later, bringing both settlers and an onslaught of foreign diseases, which tore through the Dahan. Yeah. Spirit assistance helped many Dahan survive, but even so, as the game opens, they are just regaining their footing, mourning their dead, and discovering that these scourges were not the act of angry spirits. They are divided on what to do. Some see the invaders as a menace to drive away, while others think of them as our new neighbors, or are fascinated with their lifestyle, tools, and beliefs. The larger spirits of the island live and act on a much larger timescale than humans. The most common reaction to the invaders' arrival was, "Oh great, more humans, here we go again." Tempered with some optimism that spirit speakers of the Dahan could act as intermediaries to avoid another confrontation. But the invaders refused to listen and spread impossibly quickly, with more and more colony ships arriving each year. In the blink of an eye, there were nearly as many invaders as Dahan, methodically reshaping the land, destroying spirit and Dahan alike in their heedless, swarming expansion. We are the spirits. Can we save the island?
Yeah, I think we can.
Well, fortunately, as the players, we control how difficult it is, so...
Yeah.
We don't have to put...
We win!
We did it! So the game does have a lot of methodologies for scaling the difficulty. Here we're playing on... the first thing I think probably that you'll notice... And, bear with me here. Oh, I didn't think about the logistics of this.
No,
you really make fun faces.
Can I point and laugh at you instead? Because it's much more entertaining.
No, everything fell out. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. This is the board. It's modular. There's 4 parts to it, but this is the balanced sort of basic gameplay set. This is called the thematic board. There are sort of 2 things they note about the thematic board. One is that it's more difficult to look at, so if you're not used to the land types, it might not come as easily to you or intuitively. But the thematic board is... The only real difference between the thematic and balanced board is that the thematic board is geographically more realistic. So the way mountains and wetlands and deserts and stuff are placed is geographically more sensical. And the other difference is that as a result of that, it's a lot harder to play on. So, it's much, much more difficult. So we've gone with the balanced side because also we feel like that might be easier to look at on camera. Yeah,
and also we don't need help making this difficult. We're already...
Yeah, so that's one way to make it difficult is to play on the thematic side of the board. The game also comes with 8 spirits that you can play as. 4 spirits are low complexity and fairly intuitive and easy to learn. 2 are moderate and 2 are high complexity and they're very difficult.
Yeah.
And probably better in larger games.
I would a couple of them we've looked at and it seems like if you've got a fairly large group, the synergy would play quite well, but for only 2 of us, especially the dreams and nightmares.
Oh, what is it, the Keeper of Dreams and Nightmares?
Yeah, he can't damage anything directly, it says on his card. He causes no damage. Ignore anything that says he does. He just causes fear.
So Ollie is Shadows Flicker Like Flame, and he's a low complexity spirit, and I'm Spread of Rampant Green, a moderate complexity spirit. Because I tried Ocean's Hungry Grasp, who's a complex spirit, and it didn't go well. I mean, the coasts, totally decimated. No invaders on the coast. Stopped them dead.
Yep.
All the inland stuff, really problematic. Couldn't reach it.
Yeah, which is kind of funny as well, considering like the ocean's completely devoid of any invaders. The coast's wiped out, but you let them on the island in the first place.
And that's the problem with these English. You know, you let one in and suddenly they're everywhere.
It's because the first one opened up a fish and chip shop, and then the rest just came coming.
So so you can sort of scale the difficulty with the different spirits that you play. Some create more or less synergy with others, and some are more or less difficult based on what other elements you're using, like the thematic board. Other ways to scale the difficulty are also scenarios, which you put in. Scenarios sort of fundamentally change some of the basic rules of the game and require you to do different things. And some change the game very drastically as well. And you also have adversaries. The game comes with 3 adversaries: the Kingdom of England, Sweden, and Prussia-Brandenburg. And they also do different things. Like England is very, very good at building towns and cities. Sweden is very good at creating blight, which is sort of like pollution in the land. And it represents some sort of mining and things like that.
Yeah.
And Prussian-Brandenburg actually sort of really alter the speed and sort of tempo of the game to throw you off and sort of make things difficult for you as well. So based on what spirits you take, they will sort of interwork with those different adversaries at a more or less difficult and interesting ways. And then each adversary itself has 6 levels of difficulty, so you can play a level of difficulty on each adversary card by adding more and more in-game powers to your adversaries. So the game comes with an immense number of scaling options, and I've played the basic game, which means not only do you not use an adversary, you don't use a scenario, you don't use the thematic board, you don't use the blight in the same way as you do in the game we're going to play now, and you don't and you use basic spirits, and you don't even use the powers in the same way we're going to use them in this game. Everything is sort of really scaled back, and it's still difficult.
Yeah, I mean this was the thing we've had one.
I mean, we did beat it on our first try, but it wasn't easy.
No.
At all.
No, and this was the thing. Blight is very, very, very bad and can quickly get out of control.
So there's many ways to lose the game.
Yeah.
There's a deck of exploration cards right here. These cards, if they run out, then we lose the game. There's a pool of blight. That's the pollution being spread by the invaders. If that runs out, or all of it gets out in the island here, we lose the game.
Yep. But we can also scare the invaders so much that we win the game.
Yeah, there's sort of several ways to win the game. Mostly it is through fear, creating fear and driving them off the island. But there's sort of 2 ways that works. There's a terror level, which escalates the more fear we cause. And as the terror level gets escalated, it becomes easier for us to win the game as victory conditions are knocked off. The other way to win is by creating so much fear that the terror level reaches terror level 4, which is an instant victory.
Yeah, and essentially... it's either destroy them all or cause them to be so afraid they run away.
The Kingdom of England actually comes with another loss condition as well. If they ever build a combination of cities and towns, 7 units in the same land, the land being the different territories on the board here, we lose.
Instantly.
With
no recourse. It's going to be a challenge.
It's called Proud and Mighty Capital. So we're playing with a low and a moderate complexity spirit. We're playing on level 2 Kingdom of England. So we've already set up the board for level 2 Kingdom of England difficulty level, and we're playing sort of a standard game, which means there's no scenario, but we're also not playing the sort of the recommended easy variant for first time players. We're playing sort of a full on game, but which means drafting powers and
the randomness is going to add to it as well, because there's nothing to stop, because we have to discard the ones we don't pick. There's nothing to stop that happening to be amazing stuff that you want to do everything. So
yeah, it's really heartbreaking when you draw 4 great powers.
No, you can only keep 1.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I am spread of rampant green.
Yes.
And one of the older spirits on the island, though it's even more wild and exuberant these days than when it was young. Contrary to some stories, it does think things through. It's far more concerned with the process of life than with things like consequences. It's not unfriendly to the Dahan, but its idea of a good time is to smother their buildings in all manner of inconvenient greenery, and its notion of help transforms carefully cultivated areas into overgrown thickets. Entire villages have been known to move to fresh planting sites years early if a spirit speaker suspects that rampant green is going to stay in the area for too long. And my sort of play style is that I'm quite defensive. I'm good at spreading out across the island very quickly. I sort of automatically spread my presence around the island, whereas the other spirits don't do that. And I sort of get... I'm really good at sort of slowing down the invaders and things like that. But I'm not very good at actually sort of killing them unless I get the right power cards out of those decks.
Yeah. Again, I'm shadows flickering like a flame. The Dahan say, if the long shadows of sunset stretching beside you begin to shift and flicker like tongues of hungry fire, do not run. That will only feed your fear and whet the shadow's appetite. This spirit invokes an instinctive fear in humans, perhaps because it doesn't think at all like humans do. It's more alien-minded than most. Until a few generations ago, the Dahan carefully propitated at it only at a distance, steering as clear as they could. But during the years of the relentless sun, it shaded large swathes of the island, averting catastrophe. Since then, many Dahan have been willing to carefully, and cautiously, heed its words, feeling they have a debt they ought to try to repay. I'm supposed to be very, very good at causing fear and picking off lone explorers and towns. The problem I've got is once they start to conglomerate in one area, I will struggle to do massive damage to them. It even says on my card, you may need to rely on allies to handle thoroughly colonised lands. So a lot of my stuff early on can generate fear, which can help us get through the fear pool and the fear deck, but I will struggle once they get entrenched, which with England happens quickly.
So I'll tell you one thing about this game. It's complex. It's involved. When I first opened it up and I got out these tiny little modular island sets, I was like, the board is minuscule. Look at it. It's tiny. But actually, I love how compact this is for table space. I love it. Like, it's so... It just feels like it uses its space well. And after playing so many sort of table-consuming games, it's quite nice to have something that's just a bit more manageable and where you can just kind of move the things around to fit the space you've got.
Yeah. It is quite nice as well that this is one of the few games that I played with you where the first question we had was, okay, how can we all fit around a table playing this?
Yeah, what you mean wasn't that?
Yeah, because I think Star Trek Ascendancy was quite a challenge for us.
Yeah, well, and exactly, especially the way both Star Trek games as well, actually, Fleet Captains too, because of the way sort of the players sit around essentially a space map.
Yeah.
We always have the challenge of figuring out, well, we're going to have to sit in a straight line. How do we make this work logistically? Yeah. But this one just kind of happened very naturally.
No, that's cool.
So we've got a set of powers in our hand here. These are sort of our starting set, and they're very cool. Like, the layout of the cards has been criticized, and yeah, fair enough, they do look very sort of 90s, but...
I don't have a problem with that. I thought they looked quite nice.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. They are, the artwork window is very small.
Oh, yeah.
But, they're utilitarian and they have lots of information on them. Anyway, so we start with 4 each. These are based on our spirit.
Yep.
But we can draft more powers here from these decks. And we've already set the game up for the first round. The Explorer card is going to go over here. And every round the Invaders are going to come on in more increasing and awful numbers. So we need to get started with killing them.
Yes, but I will say the one big difference between the two starting powers, the red and the blue. The red are instant spells, and the blue are takes a while to go, which is important because with the turn order.
Let me see that one.
Yeah.
Fair's Called Due. That's hilarious. Look,
I know.
All these spirits like in the background, like
go there,
go get him, go.
Yeah, which I love compared to Concealing Shadows because that's just like nightmares have reached out to grab you, and very Spanish-looking soldiers look very afraid.
Well, I really like this is one of the things that without sort of jumping straight to the final thoughts or anything, but the game is very theme rich and it works really hard to immerse you in this sort of idea of sort of supernatural and sort of unknown and discovery and fear, and it does. I think it does it really nicely.
Yeah,
I think it really does do a good job of that. So the first thing that happens on round 1 is we're going to have our growth phase.
Yep.
I always sort of spread out and grow
because tree.
So we've got build happening in the
sand areas.
So, funnily enough, this means that's going to be a problem.
Very early on.
Yeah, but interestingly, it was on my board last time.
Oh, yeah.
That happened. But I think I will go ahead and just spread over here into this jungle.
Okay.
Problematic is that... so I'm quite good at preventing the invaders from being in the jungle and the wetlands, because that's where growth occurs. But unfortunately, here they're in the deserts, which is not my strong suit. Aha, this feeds into the little story I read you earlier. Look, I can use fields choked with growth. Now this power allows me to move the Dahan around, which is quite funny because I guess that's them going, oh fuck, rampant green earth's here.
But you can also push the invaders.
Yep, I can push 1 town or 3 Dahan. But it's basically people going, oh, spread of rampant greens come, we have to leave now.
Actually, I like to think that's what the Dahan are saying, whereas the English wake up one day and the trees have moved their town over. Literally, they fell asleep one night and they were in the jungle. They woke up the next night. Why are we in the desert? What happened?
It's like
the ultimate drunk story. I fell asleep and I woke up and the entire town had moved.
But except you're not drunk.
Yeah.
And it really happened.
Well, to be fair, in this day and age, and the fact we're playing criminals and malcontents, they're drunk. Let's face it.
Yeah, that's the level 2 game effect for Kingdom of England.
Yeah, they've been shipped out here because they're criminals. They're drunk. You would be. But, yeah.
So, we need to deal with that probably. We're going to throw down another city there. I mean, we can't prevent it.
No, but we can do something to annoy them, at least. And this is the thing, because it's a cooperative game, we are going to be discussing a lot of tactics and probably get a bit knocked down into the details with, well, if I do this and it combos off of what you can do, then this happens.
Well, I think that's quite a good thing, though. I think what I'm going to do
I like it.
is I'm going to gain a power card and an energy. And I think I'll play these 2, which just add more growth from us.
Okay.
Because, we both get to put a growth down on the board, a presence.
Yeah.
And that just helps open our boards up and get this ball rolling.
Cool.
Because there's no... Oh, I can't play both these cards. I can only play one.
You can only play one. But you're going to do Gift of Proliferation or you're going to do Overgrown in a Night? So
Gift of Proliferation I can use on you.
Yeah. So this is what's kind of cool is this spell here, instant, and he's going to get these extra bonuses just for playing it.
Well, so these are like elements. It's almost like sort of a collector's game, really. What happens is when you play different powers, you gain sort of these different element symbols, which form a pool that you can then use to cast additional powers.
Yeah. In this case, they both do the same thing, but I quite like him to use that for obvious reasons.
Well, I think it's probably better for me because I grow quite fast and easily anyway. So if I can help you open up your board, then it will benefit us both.
Yeah. But as well, for Overgrown at Night, if your target land that has your presence in has invaders, you also get fear.
Yeah, so I could use that to generate fear, which is also very good.
But for now, I'd hope for Gift of Proliferation.
Well, if I use Gift of Proliferation, the other thing is I'm going to gain a power now because I'm going to gain a power card and 3 energy. So I don't actually have to choose to use this yet. I might well draw a minor power card that I'd prefer to have.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a strong start as well.
Yeah, please don't have 4 good cards at this point because there's stuff that I want to be able to do. Wait for it. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, these are not super good. But what are you up to?
Well, I was going to do the gain a power and add a presence, just because I want to get some more spells going off. I was going to do it so that I could do my extra cast. Because this is the thing, at the start I don't generate any energy, but I can very quickly start ramping it up. So, as it stands, I'm looking to get some spells off. I don't have any energy right now, so there's only one spell I can even play, which is the Conceal Shadows. And all that's going to do is protect the Dahan in any areas where they're going to be attacked, which at this point is going to be there or there. And the Dahan are going to kick the crap out of that guy. Yeah. But potentially this one might benefit from...
Well, he's going to put down a town, which will be problematic.
Yes.
That'll kill one of the Dahan.
Yeah, but he's also going to put down a town, which will definitely kill that guy.
Indeed, but I've actually just got this one, which in the late game seems completely worthless, but at this stage seems particularly good. It's called Lure of the Unknown, and I like this one because it's got lots of good elemental symbols on it.
I would have really loved that because that's all of the stuff that I want.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't give it to Ollie, but
oh well.
I will take it because it's. I mean, the moon and the grass is good for me.
Yeah.
And fire is good in general. The feather's not so good, but whatever.
Shut up! I like wind.
But what I can do with this is I can actually move invaders into areas where they just won't have an effect. So I can cast this turn, and I can move. It says so. Gather allows me to move them from adjacent territories into a territory.
So he could pick there and move both of these guys and even that city if he wanted to.
So
I don't think he would.
I can't move the city. I can only move a town with Lure of the Unknown.
True.
And it's gather 1, so I can't move 2 actually. But what I think I might do is use it and gather this man in here.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, that sounds good, because then he can't build anything and there's no ravage this turn.
Yeah, exactly. It means I won't be able to use the presence thing for you this turn, but that doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, it's free.
And it means next turn I can use... I'll have 2 cards to play next turn.
Yeah.
So we're limited by the amount of energy we have, which is like a persistent currency that we keep until we spend it.
Yep.
And the number of cards we can play.
Yeah.
And the way we unlock these is by spreading our wooden tokens from our board onto the map.
Yep. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to do my add presence and gain a power card. And I'm going to do that to gain an extra spell that I can play down. So I'll pick the basic ones first, because this is where you want to start off.
Yeah, you can choose to gain a major power or a minor power, but the major powers are expensive. They require probably more energy than we have access to.
There we go.
Oh, you got Elemental Boon.
Yep, that one is getting kept, which is a shame because these are actually quite good. I've got Entrancing Apparitions, which we did use a lot last time. Voracious Growth, which is remove Blight, and Quicken the Earth Struggle. So damage to each of the towns and cities, or defend 10. Remove Blight or do 2 damage. Defend 2 or gather up to 2, but you never use that, you always use the defend. Elemental Boon. Target spirits gains 3 different elements of their choice, and if I target another spirit, I also gain the chosen elements. So that one is getting kept.
I mean, there's really no reason not to ever use that on another spirit.
No. The only time is if they need something completely different to you.
No, but again, just give them what you need,
and
then even if they don't use it, they've got it.
Yeah. So
that's what I was doing.
Given that I've got this, I can get additional energy to prop my own ability. I'm going to put this down. Where should I put this? Put it on the desert, because that's going to be the Ravage next time.
What are you talking about?
So my...
so you've got a presence to add.
Yeah, so I think I'll probably put it there, actually, because that gives me more control. Because my innate ability is I can spend an extra energy and then target where there are Dahan. So it's quite useful. But I'll put it on top of that, so I've got another Sacred Site. And I'm definitely going to be casting that. Do I still need to cast Concealing Shadows, do you reckon? Is there any reason to... I mean, I could do it there and then that...
Have a look at that.
So...
well, I think, are you hoping to use your innate power?
Yes.
So then you'll have to use Concealing Shadows, because you can't gain 2 moons, because it's got to be 3 different symbols.
Yes. So I can gain... But the question is it going to be useful? Because all it's going to do is move them. So I can move him so he can't do a town. So I could move him to there, or I could move him to there, and then...
Well, again, I'm going to be able to move one as well, and this has got quite a good range.
Yeah.
So between the 2 of us, we could actually move 2 guys out. I'd be tempted to move this man, because the Blight. And we can move another man, and then that's 2 towns that won't be built this turn.
Yeah, go with that. So I'll do Concealing Shadows and Elemental Boon. So I'm going to give you Moon, Fire, and anything particular you want.
If you can give me a grass, I can do a useless amount of damage.
Yeah, I'll give you some grass.
It doesn't actually matter. I can't do anything useful with it. Sadly,
that's annoying.
It is annoying.
Not at all. Because I mean, if your innate's better than mine at this point, I might as well. Because you can give something defend, or you can. So if I gave you grass.
Yeah, again, I can't really do anything useful with it this turn, I'm afraid.
No, okay.
I could play another card and destroy a town later, but it feels better to prevent a town from happening in the first place.
So a moon, a fire, and some earth, because why not? So that's going to be those 2, and I'm going to get a copy of them. So Concealing Shadow, I'm going to put my boon down there. Oh crap! No, I can't, because I need energy to.
You mean you need to be in range?
Yes.
That can only go down in areas where you are.
No, that's annoying. Because its range is 0, and I have no energy this turn.
Oh, yeah. Well, hold tight, because I could... I've got All Enveloping Green. Now, if I pass on that one, Lure of the Unknown...
And I just give you a load of...
Well, if I play Fields Choke... No, that's wrong. Yeah, if I play either of these 2...
Yeah.
I'll gain a water and a grass. No, you can't give me 2 grass, though.
I can give you a grass.
And that doesn't help me get all-enveloping green, I'm afraid.
Damn it.
Oh, the conundrum of Spirit Island.
Okay.
If only the Dahan could peek behind the curtain and see this nonsense.
Alright.
Like, oh, I need this, I need that, I can't. Oh.
Okay, because the range is 0, so that's annoying.
Yeah.
Just having no energy is annoying. Alright, so...
But still, generating fear is always good. Keeping
Yeah.
the fear rolling.
Yeah.
Always powerful.
So, I'll do it there, then. They'll take no damage and generate fear.
Very cool. So we've gone into the second step now, which is activating our powers.
Yes.
Mine
are both instant.
we've all used fast powers. You can tell because they're red.
Yeah.
So I can you can gather as well because
Yeah.
your darkness swallows the unwary
Yeah,
is your
so-
special power.
It's a range of 1 away from one of my heartlands, in this case that one, so I'm going to move him to there.
Yep, that's good.
Oh, wait,
Oh no, it's gather, so you have
gather.
to suck him into here.
No, because I can target land, so I'd suck him into there, or there, or there, or whatever. 'Cause I target a land within within one of my heartland, so I could even target that and just be like, oh, but,
No, because you're not touching it.
so I can target that thing, and then he's there.
But you've got to move him from an adjacent one to the one you targeted.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better to put him in here, though, don't you?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I don't know. It's
No,
what
that's
do you think?
that because they're going to kill him. Like,
Well,
if he tries to do anything.
Yeah, if he tries to do anything.
Yeah, that's
Well, he'll try and build a town first, but hopefully by then we'll be able to defend.
yeah.
All right, good. Well, then I will use. I've got Lure of the Unknown, which has slightly more range on it, but it's still
Not that great.
not that
great an
helpful.
opening turn, really.
To be fair, it's difficult to do much in the opening game. You know, it's sort of like the spirits are waking up; they're a bit slow. But if I can sort of take this guy and move him to either of those two. Is that better, or was I was going to do this guy? Wasn't I?
you were going to do that to get rid of the potential blight.
Yeah, so he's not building in an area with blight. The coast's already strong, so I think I'll move him in here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's those spells there now because we've cast them.
Yeah,
So we can get them back.
Yeah, that's discarded, but we can reclaim it.
Hmm.
I'm just going to leave my hand face up. There's no point.
Yeah. It just confuses yourself.
So there we go. So now that we've done that, we move on to the Invader step.
Yep.
Which is Blighted Island effect. There's none yet. We'll talk about that. Fear effects, none of those. So we're straight into the Ravage. There's no Ravage on the first turn because there's no card in the Ravage slot on the Fear board.
But there is a build.
There is a build. So we're going straight into build. And that's in the sense, no... Oh, yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that one.
That one. And sit a town here as well.
Yep, and that's it.
And that's it for now.
So, move that to there.
Well, before you move them, actually, this one flips over and then everything moves down.
Okay.
So we've got jungles.
Lots of jungles.
So, So the explorers appear in any territory that's adjacent to the coast or adjacent to a territory with a town or city.
Because they wander out from town going, I'm going to head into the jungle. Gits.
In this case, it's all of them. So.
Yeah. And this is a bit worrying for us because now the sands are going to get ravaged next turn, which can cause a lot of blight.
Yeah, and blight is bad. Blight kills our presence, and if enough
and
blight...
our people.
Yeah, and also the Healthy Island stat is something that we really like to have.
Yeah.
Well, I like to have. It's useful for me. I don't like growing on an unhealthy island. It makes me sick.
Oh dear.
So now is the time passes step where we heal everyone who took damage but didn't die. But that's nobody. So we're straight into turn 2 of Spirit Island.
Yes.
But we'll do that tomorrow on Ready Steady Play. So if you're excited to see what happens as rampant green earth, a spread of rampant green,
and shadows flicker like flame,
take on the evil English invaders, please come back tomorrow and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it.
See you then.
Bye everyone.
Bye.